Why are people going crazy? This is Dr. Mark Agresti. I want to discuss this a little bit. What do I mean when I say that? What does crazy mean? Mentally deranged, especially in a wild or aggressive way. So crazy is not mental illness. Mental illness as we know it, psychosis, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, all sorts of personality disorders, phobias. These people don't get wild or aggressive and go shoot up people. So when I say, why are people going crazy? What I mean is, why are people just randomly going out and shooting a lot of people? Well, who does that? Well, it's mostly men, pretty much all men. So now it's a male problem. It's mostly people, the median age is 35, so we'll say it's young men, and 64% are white. The next category of mass shooters is black and then Latino, but it's dramatically less. I think it was 29 for blacks, and then Latinos came in like 14%. So it's not very high. It's mostly a male, 35 and under, white problem. Now, what is the problem? What is it that these people do that may cause them to be a problem? And when I say problem, I mean going into public places and shooting people. Well, the key features here, how do they spend most of their day? Most of these people spend their day on the internet. 28% of people spend every waking moment on the internet. The average American spends between 3 and 4 hours a day. 45% of Americans are checking on and off all day on the internet. Now, when you're on the internet, you could also be playing video games with people throughout the world. You could be researching things on the internet. You could be on blogs. You could be on social media. You're getting information. You're exchanging ideas with people. And you're playing games which you choose to play that have a certain theme or content. Here's the key feature here. You're picking what you want to talk about. You're picking with whom you want to talk about, and you're exchanging ideas with people who have like ideas from you. And if you don't, you'll block them or move to another website or block them from the blog or choose not to interact with them on social media. So now it's elective. You choose what you want to be fed. The more hate groups you involve yourself with, the more hate groups will involve themselves with you. The more you'll see hate, the more you'll see about resentment, anger, violence. The more you choose to look at it, the more you'll get, and you pick it and it comes your way. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So this becomes your world. You create your world. It's not as if you're in a place where there's checks and balances, where people are saying, oh, that's ridiculous, don't think like that. No, this is a one-sided street where you pick these hateful, violent, for lack of a better word, evil websites and blogs and choose to interact with people who think about destroying and killing and conspiracy theories. If you go there, more will come your way, and the more you'll think about it, and your world will become obsessed with this idea. You will brainwash yourself. And that's exactly what's going on. It's what they do. They spend their day brainwashing themselves, and their view of the world is reinforced on this internet with all this negative material, with all these hate groups, with white nationalistic kind of commentary, with pro-violence, pro-killing people. What also they're getting, what also may be affecting these people is negative messages in the media about men in general, and more importantly, about white men, white privilege, and how they're the cause of all society's problems, how they're the cause of income inequality, how they're the cause of job issues, environmental issues, how they're responsible for racism, how men in general are responsible for a lot of bad things, but how white men are particularly responsible for a lot of the evils in society. And this is a negative message. And when people get a negative message and you provoke them, they fight back. So now we're in an adversarial role with white men in society and men in general. There's also another thing going on. There's this excessive use of the internet and what the damages that cause, the negative messages towards men, especially white men. But the third thing would be easy availability of drugs. 30 million Americans are out there have a drug problem, white men and men in general. And there's also another problem, easy availability of guns. So you have all the issues of addiction, which I talk about in other videos, the alienation from the workforce, the alienation from friends, family, the pursuit of this black market drugs and obsession with drugs and high. But also there's the easy availability of guns. The fourth thing that creates these people, in terms of what they're doing all day, they're usually alone. And when people are alone, they think about one thought, and there's no one there to question their thought or behavior. If you're sitting in your room all day on the internet and think you want to go blow up a school, there's no one there to tell you that's insane. Don't do that. Or I want to go shoot up a synagogue, or I want to go shoot up a church, or I want to go shoot up people at a concert or people at a movie theater, or I want to go shoot up people at work. There's no one there to support that individual, to tell them not to do that, to tell them to help your fellow man, don't hate your fellow man, because everyone's alone. And the fifth thing that this population is doing is they're not really making friends. They have these nebulous electronic connections online, and that's about it. They're not making friends, and they're not really having sex with the opposite sex, male or female. The statistics of loneliness are up, sexual relations are down, and friendships are down. Now I talked about the things that they do that predispose them to become crazy and go out and kill people. Being on the internet, the negative, that would be one, the negative messages from society as a whole. 2, 3, the availability of drugs and guns. 4, spending too much time alone. And 5, not having friends and not really having sex with the opposite sex or a sexual partner that they choose. Now, those are the things that they do that are bad. What things are they not doing? Well, the number one things that they're not doing that I see is they're not very religious. Religion may have some bad, but the good of it is it reinforces, most religions reinforce positive morality. Help your fellow man. Be kind to your fellow man. Love your neighbor. Love your wife or husband. Be good to other people. Care for other people. Don't kill. Don't maim. Don't hurt anyone. Be helpful. Organized religion is falling in our society. And with it, so is this moral teaching and the positive aspects of religion. We're down on religion as a society at, I think, great consequence. What else is happening? Participation in group sports is down. So you're not learning to work in a team. You're not learning to work with others. You're not building relationships. You're not putting the part of the team ahead of yourself. It's more about oneself now than it is about group activity and team spirit. Also, there's no more school pride. That's way down. There's no sense of community in the school. The third thing would be there's no sense of community at all. Everyone's on the internet interacting with people from all over the planet, and they have no sense of their local community and caring and protecting it and helping it and nurturing it and growing it. If we look at even a larger level, national pride, there's no patriotism. It's way down. There's no sense of group. There's no sense of collective consciousness. There's no sort of sense of collective purpose. The aspects of belonging to a group is way down. This is what is not going on. And what are the consequences of that? Groups provide teaching, moral stability, uh, checks and balances on thoughts and ideas and behavior. If you're doing something wrong and hurting people, the group will say stop that, and the group will enforce it. If you're thinking thoughts that you want to destroy and hurt other people, the group will say no, don't think that. Let's work together. We'll be there and support you for good things, but we'll not support you and hold you back from bad things. That's called the collective consciousness of our society is no longer in play. Everyone is more isolated, more in tune with their own world and nothing else. We are not socializing people to be group animals and have a collective consciousness and a higher morality of the group. Everyone is an individual, isolated, and creating a reality that they want to see online, not the real reality. Now, on a more somber note, these trends are only getting worse. We're trending towards these things that I discussed as the things that these mass killers or crazy people do is getting worse. And the things that they're not doing that prevent them from getting worse, they're increasing. So I think we're at the beginning of these mass shootings and mass killing, and I see no reaction from a society as a whole. We should be not executing these people, but we should be putting them in one place and studying them, and we should learn. And hopefully this video will give us ideas and point us in a direction on things we can do to prevent these mass shootings from occurring. And I think as a society, we need to reevaluate everything we're doing, because what we're doing right now is not working and we're trending in the wrong direction. We need to stop this and trend in a different direction, and we need to trend towards promoting the collective consciousness of society and group participation, where we can track, train, socialize, educate, and prevent these mass shootings. I talk more about this in my book on Amazon.com called Tales from the Couch. Thank you, Dr. Mark Agresti.